G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today we're going to go through the Sydney Swans team review going into the AFL 2026 season for SuperCoach. If you haven't checked out the other 15, 16 videos, go check them out after this one. We've got West Coast and Western Bulldogs right around the corner, so stay tuned for those. Nearly finishing this up. You're probably wondering why all these videos are getting pre-recorded. It's because I'm going away and I want to get them out before pre-season and people going, well, you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, I've recorded this before, but that's okay. Anyways, that's my little spiel. Today, we'll be talking about the Sydney Swans. But before we get my own views and opinions, we go to Nerds for Life on Twitter. Go chuck him a follow. He is great when it comes to pre-season stuff. You get to, well, basically what he does, you get a bunch of track watchers. He shouts them out. So you can even follow those guys as well. What he does is he compiles them all together and puts into one big note, and people can read them. And it's really good for the SuperCoach community and the AFL fantasy community. But yeah, today it will be the 10th of the 11th, so very, very early on. First 4-year players returned to training today. Some senior players. Charlie Curnow was up and about but did not compete in the time trial. Took part in the other drills and moved well, though. Amadi, McLean, McInerney, and senior players all back early. Cleary started pre-season strong, finishing first at 2K time trial. Warner narrowly second in the time trial. Bice finished third. So not much information there, but that's okay. We got this January 26th. What was this one? Oh, Feb 8th. So the day I'm recording this yesterday. That'll be interesting. So the one on January 26th, we've got Curnow kicked a couple goals and looked solid standouts. Callum Mills, Esoving, don't know. He's returned to full training. Excuse me if I'm sounding a bit crap. I've just done footy myself and I'm just so tired and out of it. Gordon looking fit and dominant all around the ground, or all over the ground here. Heaney, 593k bid looks forward. Brodie Grundy, Joel Amadi clashed heads and entered concussion protocols, which was no good. Jai Strong slowly securing a spot in that Swans defender 6. That's great to hear. We've got Detoli forward was impressive, 155k. McDonald, sorry, not Mac. Took a solid mark and kicked a goal. Edwards putting his hand up, probably just outside the best side. That's good to know. Taylor Adams was absent after hospitalised over the weekend. No good to hear either. Last one, this was yesterday, the day I'm recording this, on the 8th. Callum Mills looks to be playing his best footy, playing across half-back. Heaney dominant through the midfield and kicked 3 goals when drifting forward. Ned Bowman is emerging as an opening round chance in a half-back role. Charlie Curnow was impressive with his work rate and string marking. Kyle impressing but likely to make his debut later in the season. That's good to know. Is that it? Was it just that little one? Oh, it's very quick. Probably the quickest 3 that I've gone through. But yeah, that's from Nerds for Life. Thank you very much again for compiling those notes. But now we get into my opinions here. So we have got Nick Blakey, Callum Mills, and Matt Roberts. I know Matt Roberts is 0% owned, but he's a decent guy that we can talk about. Don't know how they're going to be playing with this mix, because it seems like it's Blakey and Mills off halfback and Roberts is there too. They used Bice a lot last year. Nothing was mentioned up there, which is a little bit concerning because that might mean he's not in the best 23 anymore. Not that people are going to go for it, but that secures the roles of Mills and Blakey, and Roberts being that third guy, hence why he's averaging less compared to them. So, look, in my opinion, don't go for Roberts at all. Callum Mills, do you know what was funny? I had him in my team right at the start of pre-season, and I just got rid of him because I can get McKirch for cheaper, and I feel like they might average similar. But you never know. Once I finish recording all these pre-season, team reviews for myself, I'm going to construct my team again and really kind of, get a good look around of how teams are going and players are going. I am away this weekend. Not this week. The day I'm recording, I'm away next week, so I'll be watching quite a bit of pre-season footy, which is good. So I'm very excited about that. But Blakey's interesting. He's a really nice pod. 101 last year. He can definitely climb up in points, but his floor I think is like super low, and especially he can be a guy that gets tagged. I was about to say James Jordan does half forward, half back, but they're on the same team, so 128, 122, 115. Okay. But yeah, 86. He had a 67 here, 76, and a 45. Yikes. And he lost 41K, but then did 146 against Richmond. So good if you picked him up there. But yeah, and then a 65 here against GWS. So his ceiling is 155, 146, 136, 122. Like, he's just as good as any primo, but also I think those averages of the 45 and the 67, the 76, I think there was a 50 as well. That definitely brought it down pretty significantly. But look, he's actually decently priced, I'll be honest. Do I think he'll be top six? He'd be pushing D6. The best I can see him do is D5. He's obviously got Naz Sinclair, who I think will be 1 and 2. You got Rosie, potentially Jordan Clark. You got the two GWS boys. That's already 6 there. You got McKerch who's coming through, Callum Mills as well, and Nick Blakey's another guy. But if you've been watching the past few videos, I've mentioned that I'm not a big risk taker, and I just don't think Nick Blakey's going to be that for me. They also miss out in the early buy too, so going to be no good there for me. So there's probably a reason why not many people are going with Sydney. Like, who's the most? Okay, I was wrong. Josh Sarong and Goulden. 10% are going with Kerno. That's interesting. We'll get to that later. Fly this pretty quickly. McCartan and Rampy just going to say no. Put a line through their name. I don't need to explain. Explain? I don't need to explain. Bice, 335K, was great for us last year. It was great D6, D5, making his money. You know, he kind of dropped off a bit, but that's okay. And then, you know, he ran it out to about 300K, which was very nice and good for me, and good for everyone else. Malik and Wicks going to go no. Midfield, here we go. Isaac Heaney, 593K with an average of 109. 4% have gone with him. So a really nice pod there. I do like him. He'll be definitely, I think his ceiling would be M5 or M6. But definitely, if you're starting him, he's going to be in your squad for the whole year. And he'll probably be towards the bottom here at your M7 and 8. So just be aware of that. But I do think he's a good pod, good idea to have. He's an okay price as well. There's just a couple other guys I have. Just mind you, he's got the early buy. My personal opinion with midfielders and, you know, where they're priced at, what's their buy. I've got Zach Butters and potentially it's going to be like a Dawson Brayshaw and like another guy who's not playing or not having a buy, sorry, or maybe one guy, but you can't have two because you're losing two primos. As much as it's best 18, so you're not losing too many players along those buys unless you're pretty buy heavy, which is a bit dumb. But through the buy rounds, I want to kind of one up people with one guy. Even if it's 40 points over 3 weeks, that's great. So, yeah, look, Heaney, I think he's a good idea, but look, just mind you, I will one up you 1 week because I've got a primo and I've got one more primo compared to Heaney where you guys won't. Makes it sound like a bit of a, you know, not a threat to not go for him, but like just be aware of that is what I'm trying to say. But I do like the pick. Errol Goulden, 104.7 average. Only played 10 games last year, 31% own him. At 566K, I love it. We can look back at his past years. There was was it 24, 23? He was just unstoppable. No one could stop him. Like Geelong tried to what's it called? They tried to, what am I trying to say? They tried to put blitzers or just just a bunch of guys at Errol Goulden, and he was untaggable. His durability and his speed is just top notch. I know he's gone down quite a bit, but that's okay because at 566, I think definitely can see him with an uninterrupted preseason he can get back to that 111, definitely in your best side, in my opinion. So just keep an eye out on that. He does have the early buy, like I've mentioned that thousands of times. Just be aware. But I do like it. I just don't have him personally. Chad Warner's interesting. Hopefully, we can get that forward status again. Do I think he'll be in the main six? He might be F6 at best, but in your midfield, I'm going to stay clear for him. But if he gets forward status, he can definitely have a couple drop off games again from around 430, and then he can shoot up again and just score really well for you. McInerney, just not going to push the needle there, unfortunately. It's an 88 average, which isn't too bad, but there's a reason why 0% going with him, Rowbottom, Lloyd, Sheldrick, and Jordan. They're not going to push the needle for you, unfortunately. And same with Corey Warner and Billy Cootie, who 4% have got. At the start, I think a lot more people had him, but he's a mature age guy. I really want to see preseason and who their best 23 are. Obviously, there's going to be a couple guys missing out for state of origin, maybe. I don't know. I'm not actually too sure. So just be mindful that there'll be a lot of movement there. But Billy Cootie's definitely an option. It's really nice at that 113, 500K range where you've got him. But look, at this current moment, I don't have him, but he can definitely change my opinion on that. So just be mindful with that. Going to the rucks, we got Brodie Grundy. Played 22 games last year. Obviously had the concussion thing. I don't think it's going to affect him that bad. He's still the number one ruck. They're still going to play him. He's still going to be really good. 7% have got him, which is interesting. And he's only like 12 and 8K less than Gorn and Cherry. I don't have him personally. I don't know how it's going to affect the ruck rules are going to affect him. I hope it's not too bad because you can run with the 3 ruck lineup. But yeah, look, I don't know. I don't have him. He's just too expensive. I can save 60K and go to a Tim English and Luke Jackson, which is my current rucks at the moment. So look, your choice. Your choice. It's your gut feel as well. But mind you, once again, he's missing a round, but so is Tim English. So, shoot me. Going to the forwards. So we got Charlie Curnow here. 10% of people have got him. Very interesting. I didn't think it would be 10%. An average of 69.7. Is he going to be a good pick? Will he be top 6? I don't think he'll be top 6, but it is a bit of I don't know. It's not pod because point of difference is like 5% or less. But really, I haven't seen him in many teams, so I'm surprised that 10% have got him. He'll get the pill a lot more. It's just going to him every time. So I guess marking and goals, he might go back to his career year when he was at Carlton, like just winning back-to-back Coleman medals. So I do think he'll get better, and I reckon his average will go up at least 15 to 20 points. So just let's keep the radar, like have a radar on him, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does. Tommy Papley, McLean, Campbell, and Marty, especially Marty, piss off. Cunningham, we're also going to be crossing the line against. But Campbell, Amati, Papley, McLean, they're not going to move the needle. Papley was a bit injury prone last year, and these guys aren't averaging enough or changing your side too much. Now let's just have a look at the guys that I've missed out. Peter Laddams, nope. Joel Hamling's interesting, but 259K, nah. He was okay last year, but he just wasn't averaging enough for you. Caden Cleary, going to have to go very easy. No. Logan McDonald, no. I don't rate him, personally. Hanley, no. Adams, if he was like super healthy, but he's behind all those blokes in the middle, I don't see him getting a game. I think Sydney was probably the worst team to actually choose. Like that or Bulldogs or Brisbane or Gold Coast. Like, he's not getting a game. He got 4, and they were like, piss weak games coming up like as the sub. So I wouldn't go for him. DePolly, no. Harry Kyle, we obviously read about. It's tough for rookies that, especially Harry Kyle was taken a bit earlier than most. It's tough to go for them because on winning sides because they might contribute very well, which, for example, Dan Annabelle's a really good example so far. And Levi Ashcroft last year. where everyone was like, oh, is he even going to be starting? And he played every game and was great for you. So, look, probably for Harry Kyle and that defense, look at that defense. It's pretty stacked, and the midfield pretty stacked. There's just going to have to be injuries galore for him to get a game, but it's going to be a hard no, unfortunately. But 5% are going with him, so you must know something that I don't. Rosa's going to say no. Andrew Bowman Williams said he could make the team, but going to be no at the moment. William Green going to say no. Joyce wrong. Didn't put him there, but if he's going to be in the main six, I'm pretty happy because I've got him in my team at the moment, 119 900. Very, very nice. I would probably recommend getting him. He's actually not bad, and he's probably fieldable as well. Snell, no. King, Philippou, Chamberlain, Heatherton, gonna be no. Cool. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know if I talked about some guys a bit less than what you would like. If I talked about some guys I talked a little bit too much, and you think that I'm wrong. Let me know anything about anything. Very open-minded of how these guys are going. But mind you, they do have an early buy round, so I'm not going to have too many Sydney guys on my team. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.